and gentlemen, welcome in, guys. Sergeant Moose here, back with another The First Descendant build video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about a build for the weapon known as the EXCAVA. So that is correct, ladies and gentlemen. The Season 1 Battle Pass weapon coming into the game hasn't really seen a lot of love, guys, in the Season 1 content, nor, Season 2 stuff. But we have a build for it that works, and a build that actually might strike you as something different than what you typically see with the EXCAVA. So, without further ado, let's jump into it, guys. First things first, I just want to say I appreciate the love and support here on the channel for the First Descendant content. If you guys are enjoying the content, please feel free, if you haven't already, to support me as your creator in the First Descendant. We'll pop the code up here on the screen, and without further ado, thank you so much. We'll jump into the video. Okay, guys, so we're going to jump into the modules for the EXCAVA. You're going to see a little bit different numbers here on the screen because we have the modules equipped, but the EXCAVA comes with a 3% critical hit rate. Keep that in mind. We're going to up that crit rate and get it very, very high. So, we're looking at reload insight. This is a reload time modifier. Again, the EXCAVA is an assault rifle, so it does have a pretty slow reload time. And with this comes a firearm critical hit rate, 3%. Doesn't sound like a whole lot on paper with the 3% default, but, we're working on it. We'll get there. Coming over to firearm attack, of course, rifling reinforcement, one of the most common mods you use on most guns in the game, firearm attack. Electric enhancement. Now, the EXCAVA is an electric gun. The current level 20 hardest purge in the game is an electric damage purge. They're toxic enemies, I should say, so electric is super effective against them, so we're running electric enhancement here. Better concentration for critical hit damage. Of course, if we're going to upgrade the critical hit rate, we want to go with critical hit damage as well. We have concentration priority for critical hit damage. Now, it is a big penalty for reload time modifier, but we're getting there. We'll work on that reload time as well. Action and reaction, we have firearm attack 61% plus the recoil 20%. And we have rounds per mag coming in here with the expanded weapon charge and weapon tuning. I like to do this, guys, so we're not having to reload as often as possible. I like to have some rounds in the mag, so we're going with that. Also, insight focus for more crit rate and crit damage, and a better insight for more flat crit rate for 39%. So, what does that bring us to currently on crit rate? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So, our crit rate currently is 30.834%. Which is not great. That's not fantastic. That's not what you're looking for, especially if you're putting a bunch of crit modules on your gun. If you end up with 30.834, you pretty much just want to scrap that whole build and you want to go with, raw damage. But in this case, are you sure that's what you want to do? Because with Hailey, of course, we have her beautiful number 3, which we're going to pop right now. And we're going to run into and check out what that does. That's the Cold Fury. And what it does is it gradually decreases her movement speed, but greatly increases her firearm and skill critical hit rates and firearm penetration. So, just looking at that, guys, we have 16 stacks in Cold Fury. Every stack grants us 2.5% crit rate, which stacks on top of each other. So that's going to give us massive crit rate to this weapon. And also coming over and looking at the crit damage, once you get the full stacks, it's going to also increase your critical hit damage by 20%, which is also massive because we're going to keep full stacks on this thing for the entire activity. That's how we have Hailey built out. If you guys want to see this build, I'll quickly throw it up on the screen. We do have a full in-depth guide on Hailey's build for the Purge operations. If you want to screenshot this, you can do so. But yes, that's the build we have for her. But coming back to the EXCAVA, so with Hailey's ability pop, we have a 73.659%. Now, coming over to the EXCAVA itself and its unique ability, we're going to take a look at that. Now, the thing you need to know here, guys, is once you hip fire this weapon, you want to keep this weapon hip fired for the entire duration of the activity. If you do that, it grants you voltage charge. When voltage charge reaches max stacks, it changes to the unique effect energy grenade. While energy grenade is active, it fires an energy grenade. So, important to know that, guys. Once you have the energy grenade up on your gun after hip firing it, this has a duration of no limit. So the only way this energy grenade goes away is whenever you fire it, and that is by aiming down sights. If you don't aim down sights, you're going to have this energy grenade up the entire time as long as you're hip firing. Now, this does have 3 stacks, and what happens is you get a +5 firearm critical hit rate and firearm critical hit rate per stack. So, what we do is, whenever we start the activity, of course, we pop Hailey's ability, and then we're just going to hip fire this bad boy until we can get up to 3 stacks on our ability, which we now have. So, once we get those 3 stacks, we're going to go into info here. Check your crit rate. We have a 99.354% critical hit rate, which is insane. That's almost 100% crit rate on the EXCAVA without having to sacrifice too many mod slots to get that crit rate up. So now if we can just hip fire, as you guys can see, every shot is critical damage. It is a crit rate every single shot. Just about. I mean, we are not at exactly 100% right now, but we're damn close, and I think we can get that to 100%, and that leads me into our weapon our weapon cores here, as you guys can see. We have the electric attack. You can put 3 electric attack cores on this weapon, as you can see here. Of course, I would like to get these other 2 to gold. I have been freaking going crazy with these guns and putting tons of cores on them, so we're back in farming mode, guys. I kind of ran out of all my resources. But we'll get back there. We'll get back there. And because we sacrifice fire rate in our modules, we put 2 fire rate mods on as well. 2 fire rate cores, I should say. If you guys want, you can also go for magazine size as well for both of these 2. You can turn this thing into like a little LMG if you'd like. For me personally, I like the fire rate so we can get more bullets out faster. Coming down here, guys, to the sub stats, again, more electric attack. This thing is going to be an electric machine. And again, it works great because the last of the enemies in level 20 are toxic enemies. Firearm critical hit damage, 42.4%. Crit rate, that's what I was talking about. We have a purple here, 14.8. I think if we get a gold, we might be able to max this crit out at 100%. But it's close enough right now. I like where it's at. We have firearm attack, and of course, more electric attack coming in with this weapon. But, guys, that is my EXCAVA for Hailey in a nutshell. I'm having a ton of fun. You can breeze through the level 20 purges with this build, and of course, we're going to be testing it out in 21 through 30 as well. Now, is this the best weapon in the game? Probably not. There's still a lot of metal weapons that you would put over this thing, but it's still cool to kind of go around and, you know, mess around with weapons that you typically wouldn't use and see if you can make them really, really effective. Now, I would not recommend this EXCAVA build on anybody else but Hailey. If you're going to be using this build on anybody else, I would go with the typical YouTube videos that you see building this thing into raw damage as opposed to crit rate. However, Hailey, she changes the rules. That's why we're going with crit rate here on the EXCAVA. So, also inversion reinforcement, guys, just so you know. Electric focus rounds. Do not forget those because that's going to help you out a lot too with more damage. And if you guys want to see the Hailey build in its entirety, we have the video, which we'll show here at the end of the video as well. If you want to check out that build for the Purge. But yeah, that is the EXCAVA build, guys, in a nutshell, man. I'm having a ton of fun with it. Having a blast with it, man. I love this gun ever since Season 1. It never really got a whole lot of love. Now it's making a comeback. Let me know what you guys think about this build video down below in the comments. Would you change it? Do you have a better one? Please feel free to let me know as I'm still learning myself. But yeah, with that said, guys, my name's Sergeant Moose. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.